Hello and welcome to Chopped Greens. I am your host, Philip Amerine, sitting alongside
Luke Wright.
Hello and welcome back to the show, Mr. Luke Wright, sporting your teal Arizona Diamondbacks button-up jersey.
Well, it's gray.
I
don't know.
Now, let me say, you look fantastic in it, but they're ugly.
I like them.
Oh, God, they were ugly the day they debuted. They make no sense.
I thought that they... I'll admit, I think the D-backs go through way too many jerseys. I like the originals, the throwbacks at this point is what they're called. The purples and the teals and the white purple stripes.
To be fair, that's everybody, though. Everybody's making 50 different jerseys for their one team, and a lot of them look the same, just with different team logos on them.
So, but other than that... I've liked the newer ones they debuted. I know a lot of people don't, but I do.
You know what a lot of people do? They do get a lot of those nameless jerseys whenever they go to an ASU football game, a UCLA football game, any place really, except they just the one stick is that you can't buy you can't buy it authorized and authenticated.
Yeah.
But you can buy the jerseys with the actual collegiate athlete's name on the back of the jersey, but you can buy numbers.
Yeah.
But they like to do that and go to games and watch games. And speaking of UCLA, Josh Rosen, a top recruit back from high school, now one of the top two quarterbacks in the upcoming NFL draft. Supposedly, if he goes there.
It's very up in the air. We got some time.
But anyways, he's a top-ranked college quarterback. He's making the waves and making the rounds, at least in the sports world, for comments requiring just really comments offering insight on the validity of scholastic athletes.
Yeah, It's always interesting when I hear athletes try to be open about balancing work and school, especially for us in sports journalism programs, and you have classes with athletes and you hear them also try to talk about balancing it, and it's hard. And he's just trying to be honest here, and he flat out, he came out and said, school and football don't belong together. And in a way, he's right. He mentioned, there are a lot of people who are only in school because it's their way to get into the NFL. And, again, he's 100% right. And he specifically said Alabama, but he was really just pulling a name off the top of his head of, what would happen if a lot of schools raised their SAT requirements and how bad the product on the field would be. And, he's right. LeBron James very, very... barely was able to remain eligible for his school. So, you do see a lot of athletes who aren't necessarily the greatest at school get around it through various means.
And we've seen that throughout human history. Some people are book smart, some people are street smart. Most of us fall within the parameters of both. You have a step in either. But it's interesting to say that part of his quote here, and I just want to pull it directly. Then there's the other side that says raise the, the SAT eligibility requirements. Okay, raise the SAT requirement at Alabama, and we'll see what kind of team they have. So directly insinuating there that those players on Alabama, or at least a majority or some of them, would not meet the scholastic requirement at other schools such as UCLA, Notre Dame, Stanford.
And like I said, I don't think he was trying to single out Alabama. I think it's just everyone knows Alabama.
Yeah, even with the coaches poll that just recently came out, they're ranked number one.
Yeah.
And have been within the top at least 5 or 3 within the past 5 years.
But we see that trend, that's just the downside of where you play. You decided to go to a school that was more academically rigorous, and that's on you. You had plenty of other offers. You could have gone to other schools that wouldn't have had such a challenging academic career. And, that's just kind of how it works. People decide to go to Alabama, and you didn't. Don't bring up raising the minimum SAT.
Right, but Luke, this is not the first time we've ever heard Josh Rosen speak out, and really just speak out and stir up some controversy. even from his first moments on campus, I remember in his dorm room he got fined or got penalized really for having a inflatable jacuzzi that they found in his dorm room.
Hey, sometimes you need those luxuries.
You need an inflatable party, really, is what you need. And but beyond that, he's really been outspoken and just you look it up, and he's talked about college being a form of indentured servitude.
He's not wrong.
And he's talked now about raising how they just don't go together. It's a complete ironic duality there that if you're a college athlete, realistically, there's a very little chance that you're able to successfully accomplish both being a student as well as an athlete. Usually one suffers from the fate of having feet in both sets of water. And just as a human being and a previous student and alum, you are now still in the throes of school. I can imagine how hard that is. Very few players have gone through with academic shining colors and been an outstanding college performer. The only two that I can think of off the top of my head, Andrew Luck, as well as Christian McCaffrey.
Richard Sherman, actually.
Okay.
But I mean,
that's but again, what's the common thread there?
Stanford. Again, like there's a reason why these athletes have these special awards specifically for those who are gifted academically and athletically. There's a reason why when you watch college football on Saturdays, they bring up who has a 3.8 and a 4.0 and this and that. And it's because it's supposed to be impressive. And he's absolutely right. Like, I'm very much on board with letting college players make something off of their likeness and benefit not just from a free education, but also, let them make their own sponsorships if you don't want to pay them anything directly. Don't take away a YouTube channel referencing the UCF kicker who had a very popular channel.
The NCAA is just so incredibly wishy-washy on it and arbitrary on all of its rules and rulings on a case-by-case basis. And really, you can just see that not even in just how they handle the actual student-athletes, but how they handle even the universities, how if a certain team self-punishes themselves, it's either good enough or not good enough, and there's no standard as to, hey, if you spank your own behind, we'll let you off there, Louisville, as long as you ban yourself. But, Penn State, we're giving you the death penalty essentially for, 4 years? 3 years?
Some of it was 3, some of it was 4.
Yeah, so, and then USC, just because they resisted and didn't form a lawsuit, they get stuck again with another form of the death penalty. Just because they're using USC, they were able to overcome it. But that's really at the heart of all of these discussions, and that's the spoken what lies beneath the water thing, right? It's the crocodile laying underneath the water, where the entire idea of collegiate athletes is just broken. What used to be the pure idea of just somebody going to school and then also having the fun time to be a college athlete and go play lacrosse for fun, or go play chess for fun, or go fly kites at kite club for fun. I mean, whatever tickles your fancy. That idea is broken when schools and universities are being funded by their athletic department, and it's becoming a business unto itself. When it becomes a business, then it's delegitimizing the idea of a student athlete, because you're demanding more out of your workforce, i.e. the student athlete, quote unquote, and therefore you're infringing upon their idea, their ability rather, to market themselves as well as create a profitability off of their name and likeliness.
There's a lot of problems I have with the NCAA. A lot. If it were up to me, I'd completely get rid of it and restart with something else. They do, in my opinion, more harm than good. And I think that public relations-wise, almost everyone hates them. And that the only reason why they're still around is they generate enough false PR on their own behalf to make it look like they do more good than they actually do. And so I'm very much a proponent of just getting rid of the NCAA entirely and starting from scratch with something else. And reasons like this are part of it. Cardell Jones actually, I think 3 or 4 years ago now had the whole "I'm not here to play school" tweet. And he even tweeted at Josh Rosen here today, and he's like, "Hey, kid, just play school." And, I mean, he's obviously having some fun with it. But, I mean, this is a serious issue for a lot of people of why, how do we balance the student and the athlete and the paying and the not paying. And I think it's just a real complicated issue that's not going to get solved anytime soon.
See, for me, the fundamental difference of how each player from college is essentially training in a collegiate setting, just as all of college is supposed to be. Most of these, let's not even say most, a small finite few of each year of college athletes are being groomed and taught how to become NFL players. It's the rest of the people that worries and is used as bait to be an excuse as to why not to play players, as an excuse really to do a lot of the things that many would seem unfair to those who will make it. And really, just because there's a fear of something going wrong should not necessarily leave you straddled with fear to be immobile. You can't be nailed down to the floor, cemented into the ground because you're afraid to go forward and you can't go back. You have to find some way to rectify each situation as it comes up. I believe there's 32 teams times 7 rounds, so that's 224 selections each year, right? Something around there.
Yeah, because there's supplemental.
Yeah. So around 224 athletes are drafted from college. That's not excluding who will be cut and who will be brought in from after being undrafted. But with everybody there going through, there's really no set way on determining, hey, these people will not make it versus these people will. So, to be truly fair, we need to essentially pay those or set up a way to help fund those who will not make it versus those who will come on to become stars and can handle themselves in their financial future, as opposed to those who just play college athletes full and well knowing that this is the end of the line for them. After this career, quote unquote, of college athletics, they're done. Mm-hmm. I don't know where that perfect system is. I just think a lot of people are upset and wanting, just exactly like you and I, they want change. And right now the NCAA is so hell-bent on keeping the status quo that even we could have an entire show, Luke. Forget the Give Me 5. We could have an entire hour-long show of going through each issue we find with the NCAA and how to rectify it. But that doesn't mean that anybody's willing to listen. If we're just talking and nobody listens, how does that help a situation? So at this point, I think it does us the best and most good to call out the NCAA on their shortcomings and really demand change. And that's partly of what Josh Rosen's doing. He's using his leverage, what little leverage he has as a college athlete, and he's called for collegiate unions. He's done that before, and he's really as solid of a situation as any college athlete does, as the college quarterback does, as the college position or the quarterback position holds in any team, and as highly touted and regarded as he is as a prospect. He's pretty secure in his status as a top prospect and has the standing to do this, and I applaud him for doing it.
Yeah, I hope it works. It's going to take obviously years before any actual progress gets done, but I really do hope that the NCAA can get it together.
And they're not the only ones whose head is so far up their behind that they're sniffing the other end coming out when smelling some daisies and mistaking what the scent is.
Wow.
Yeah. Major League Bozos just came out with a new announcement that Joe West was suspended for 3 games for comments about Adrian Beltre, and he's the Major League's senior umpire, and he's been suspended for 3 days for comments he made about Texas's third baseman Adrian Beltre. And who would have thought that we'd be talking this much this entire season about Adrian Beltre? Whether it's the murmurs of PED use, whether it's now it's with Joe West and his comments towards him. Luke, where do you fall on this issue?
I am fully on board with saying that MLB refs are the worst refs, or umpires as they like to be called, in the major sports leagues. Because stuff like this, there's no winning for them.
Wait, so you're saying that they're the worst because of how they interpret it? Or I guess just further explain what you mean by they're the worst.
I was trying to, but thank you. Because there was no winning in this situation, and MLB refs are always the refs that overreact to everything. And obviously part of that, we don't know how much is said on the player side, but it seems like MLB umpires throw out the most players, they get into the most arguments, they escalate things more than they need to be, and in general, they're just the opposite of what they're supposed to do. And in this is a case where the MLB, I think, kind of pushed back because, what Joe West said was pretty much it all in a good humor, and he was just kind of messing around. And Adrian Beltre even said it himself. He didn't think that West deserved to be suspended, but the MLB decided, hey, we're going to suspend you because that's not very funny, and it makes you look like you aren't impartial when you should be. When in reality, anybody who read that quote would have known that, oh, that's just Adrian Beltre being funny and the ref and the umpire going along with it. So I think MLB has a big problem with just their officiating and how they themselves deal with situations. As we all know, MLB's a lot more geared towards a slower pace, and in general, it's the only sport that has such a drastic increase in age compared to the other ones.
Once again, MLB finds a way to be the stodgy old man saying, "Get off my lawn!" I can't. Every time they have the decision in front of them to choose new and exciting or old and boring, they always go the wrong way. They are so incumbent on sticking with the old ways and the non-existent, nondescript rules of baseball that they just are willy-nilly and completely arbitrary in everything they do, seemingly everything they do. What are we talking about today? We're talking about a humorous exchange about umpires. About this umpire saying, who's the worst to call? And he did it so in a way that was almost respectfully, if not humorous, and I don't think that it was completely like, oh, Adrian Beltre sucks. It was just, when he calls it, he's kind of being a little bit of a crybaby. It was, I guess, the interior message within the line. It was a subliminal messaging, right? And that's stuff that makes baseball more exciting. It's the stuff that we get to talk about. It's stuff that makes the rounds and actually gets us to actually get a vested interest in baseball.
Gives us insight to exchanges between umpires and players that we don't get to hear.
And it's stuff like this that just makes me more and more of, why do we, if you're going to do this and you're just not even, if you're going to take out every element of fun within baseball, then then just go fully forced on it, but they can't even do that. In the saying of, get rid of the umpires. If they're this problematic and they cause this much trouble, just have one umpire there to command in case there's a dugout emptying brawl that you just need somebody to go out and they can just have security for that. If we have the capability within tennis matches to see whether or not the ball landed within the zone of the playing field, I don't understand, and we can see it on TV, the strike zone, and just every umpire has his own special pitching zone where oh, this was a strike for him, but not a strike for them, and oh, that was a little too curvy, or oh, the umpire's getting a little moody today. It's so incredibly subjective. Excuse me. That why don't we have a uniformal system of calling strikes and balls to where we all agree upon it and we can all play within there and call a strike, a ball. If they go out, if the ball goes out and the player catches the ball and his feet are still within the ball of play, it doesn't count as a home run. But if it goes out into the crowds, it counts as a home run. If we're going to be so incredibly by the book definitive, why can't we just either advance to baseball to make it more fun, or just at least go to the recluse of being perfect? I mean, they're in this purgatorial hell of in between no fun and not conclusive, and it just baffles my mind. It makes for incredibly boring baseball that is slowly but surely dying.
I have talked with several fans of baseball. At my work at FanRag, there's just a ton of baseball fanatics. That's their sport that they love the most. And I've had these conversations with them, like, hey, they have the technology. And their first argument's like, well, that technology is not good enough. I watch it all the time, and I know that what they say, what they show in that little box is not accurate. And first of all, I'm like, technology is definitely good enough to track that.
The eye test, eye test.
Let's say that they're right and that you couldn't. I've given them other suggestions, like taking, like, well, why not just advance it? Not even that. Just like, why not advance technology? Because I guarantee you, if they put their money into it, they could. And then they're like, well, that takes out the human element. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, like they need the umpire because like it's not as competitive without the umpire. And like, what are you talking about? And he was all for everything you were just saying. He wanted moody umpires who sometimes this is a strike and sometimes it's not, because it adds to the game and it makes it more intriguing. And
why should a World Series Game 7 come down to an umpire who didn't drink his coffee and is tired of being harassed by by whatever home team stadium it's in?
It's a common thread. It's not just one baseball fan I talked to. It's been several, and they all say the same thing. And in my head, I'm just like, you guys are the reason why this sport is not as popular as it could be. Because you guys can't just admit that there's a problem that needs to be fixed. I suggest that, well, why do you need 162 games? Why not cut that?
Even the players themselves get out of interest.
Yeah.
And they're paid to take an interest.
And I asked, like, what, cut them out. And like, no, you can't. You have to have 100. Why? And he's like, well, if you're asking that question, then you're clearly not that big of a baseball fan. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not. Because there's 162 games, and I don't care what happens on a game in the middle of July. Because there's no reason to.
The best statement I've heard as far as judging how good a team is or not in baseball and really determining where they will rank by the end of the season is knowing that every team is going to win 40 games and lose 40 games, and it's what you do with those games in between that really makes you the team that you are. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, in the NFL, there's no such thing. I mean, the Jets, the New York Jets, we are expecting and predicting that they're going to go 0-16. You're not saying that they're going to win one and at least lose one. You can't even go that far because you don't know. I mean, they could very easily get a Christian Hackenberg reawakening, apocalypse moving. Every other starting QB comes down with influenza and just, goes down for the count, and Christian Hackenberg's a new one. Or, in reverse, Tom Brady just all of a sudden breaks a hip, and now the Patriots are the worst in the entire league. I mean, there's at least that idea and that thought of parity. And in baseball, it's so much volume that they aren't able to think outside of lining their pockets of what's the number one rule in baseball? The good of baseball. For what's the best for the game. And it baffles my mind that they're not willing, that they're so incredibly stereotyped, and that they're sticking with their entire ability, and they're just putting their blinders on to not realize, just as you said, that there's a problem. Baseball is probably my least favorite of the three major sports, but it's incredible how much fun
How big
it
of a
has.
gap there is too.
And the thing is you go to a baseball game, it's the ability of fun you have at a baseball game is just exponential. I mean, it's classic. It's that just by the nature of baseball, that it's been around for so long, it has such a tradition element attached to it. That doesn't mean that you're held down to tradition. It's because that of the NFL talking about getting rid of the point after the touchdown, the PAT. It's because
they made changes to it.
It's because the NBA is willing to talk about extending the 3-point line. 1 year getting rid of the 3-point line, 1 year pushing it back, 1 year pushing it forward, 1 year just changing the ball, the actual basketball, and not even telling its players just to see if it would work. Now this year they're being sponsored by Nike. I mean, just that ability to adjust and change is exciting. And they're just stuck in their own ways. The only ways that they're changing are what's the newest, worst vending food that you can have, whether it's the nacho hot dog supreme on a ice cream cone. I mean, it's absolutely asinine, Luke.
Yeah. I'm not nearly as passionate about this as you, since you're looking like you're about to have an aneurysm over there about this.
It frustrates me so much how something or someone can have so much potential and just be so willfully ignorant as to what their flaw is or what's holding them back, and to just have no motivation to change just for the sake of being stodgy and and when you have a vested interest in them, right? It's that somebody's willing to get. It's that same idea of somebody asking you for advice but never listening and never going to take your advice. They just want to hear whatever you have to say, and if it aligns with what they say, with what they want you to tell them, then they'll listen. But in this case, they're just not listening.
You can't even get them to make a decision. You can't even get them to humor the idea of adding the DH to the NL.
That's
how bad it is.
True.
They won't even humor the idea.
No.
You can, there are NBA coaches who are like, yeah, our season's too long. I think that they won't do it because of revenue, but we should probably shorten it a little bit.
They're at least talking about it. And,
that's NBA coaches.
Spacing out the games.
You won't have anybody in the MLB even somewhat consider having a DH in the NL unless it's a player who just mentions it offhand.
And you can't... And it's about 50-50 if you go down the line of asking baseball fans whether or not they want a DH or not a DH. To me, that's not the point. To me, the point is...
that they won't even talk about it.
Yeah, and I don't... If I'm being honest, I just want a unified rule.
Yeah.
I don't understand why it doesn't... It's a disadvantage and an advantage all its own, but I want unity. I want either there to be a DH or I want there to not be a DH.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm on the side of wanting a DH.
Yeah.
But besides that, the point is, I don't understand why they can't even agree to just become modernized and accept what's working.
It's baseball's
and
needs to realize that
they need a major
things change. Things need to evolve.
Congrats,
you're very traditional. That's not going to help you in 20 years.
And they have the advantage of being classified as the traditional one. You can be traditional and classified and labeled as traditional, but update. You don't see every antique shop just have those old-timey registers. A lot of them take Visa. Yeah. I mean, you can upgrade with the times and still hold on to your traditional values and morals and be still the same foundational person you are. Just update to entertain and not sell your soul, but to be more entertainable, and so that way it lasts. It's a longevity, and it's dying. It's dying. It's going the way of golf and tennis, just in that it's on a decline. Nobody's watching.
I mean, golf, I think, has a very unique reason why it's declining. Golf only peaked because of Tiger Woods.
Oh, fair enough.
Now that Tiger Woods is down, I think people like Jordan Spieth and Rory McIlroy and stuff are slowing it going down.
Right, but it's inevitable.
But it is going to go down until somebody proves to be as dominant as Tiger. And to be honest, that might be Jordan Spieth. He's definitely been proving it lately.
I'm waiting for the day that golf fans have to come to the reality, and maybe even baseball fans. Who knows? Who can foresee it? But waiting for the day that they have to realize and come to grips with the fact that bowling, will be more heavily viewed than either a baseball game or a golf.
That's not accurate. That's never.
If the Tiger Woods of bowling happens,
no,
you can't,
because it's still not going to happen.
Nobody thought golf would happen.
Actually, that's inaccurate. A lot of people thought golf would happen.
As far as
it's one of the oldest sports in the world.
Okay, then let's go with MMA. I mean, nobody thought the UFC would be this popular as it has become.
I think people didn't think it would become this popular this fast.
There you go.
But again, I think you're taking
right there. That's the exact idea of how if something doesn't change in this comparison, the boxing world where so much of the foundation is broken that a new something from the ashes of their mistakes arises. The UFC, which doesn't have to deal with promoters, it owns essentially its fighters and pits the best fighter versus the best fighters, the fights that people want to see. In baseball, if they don't change, there's going to be something that overtakes it. And I don't know and it may be a long time.
I don't necessarily think it's going to be overtaken. I just think it's going to get pushed to the side. For example, like you mentioned just now, UFC is boxing but more exciting because it's fighting. They are two different sides of a coin.
Okay.
You're not going to see another side of the baseball coin coming up. If anything, actually, baseball is the other side of the cricket coin.
I was gonna say,
cricket's already popular everywhere else in the world besides the U.S. And I think we all know the U.S. is not going to get into cricket.
I don't know. If you'd have asked 20 years ago, nobody would have said soccer will ever be popular in the U.S.
The soccer's still not popular in the U.S.
It's growing.
It's very slowly, and it's not even necessarily that it's growing. It's just that it is getting more publicity from sections of the population that were already giving it publicity, if that makes sense. It was the same people.
It's the same demographic, same percentage, but that percentage of people is now covering a wider base population.
They're willing to pay more for it because they want it. But even then, when people talk about soccer, no one cares about the MLS. People still talk about Barcelona and Real Madrid and everything back in Europe and the Premier League.
And Neymar just left Real Madrid.
Yeah, but exactly. People talk about Neymar, Messi, Ronaldo. Nobody talks about the MLS teams because no one cares about the MLS teams.
But you know what everybody does? What everybody does care about?
Give me 5.
It's like he knew I was going there with the perfect segue right after this commercial.
Red Ribbon Realty Group at HomeSmart is a full-service real estate team of Phoenix natives with over 15 years of experience in the industry. When you work with them, you have 2 full-time realtors representing your best interests throughout your entire transaction, whether you are selling, buying, or renting. They also believe in supporting their community. Use code word chopped greens and Red Ribbon Realty Group will donate 15% of their net commission from your transaction to the nonprofit charity of your choice. Visit their website at www.redribbongroup.com and find them on Facebook. You can also email them at info@redribbongroup.com or call them at 602-888-6638. Red Ribbon Realty Group. Trust. Commitment. Home.
So, how are the old knees?
I hate you so much.
When in doubt, Luke's knees it out. All right. That was about as best as I could go from the entrance of Give Me 5. Which, by the way, is the part of the show where I've got 5 questions for you, you've got 5 questions for me. We don't know what they are. Luke, we'll answer them honestly.
Will we, though?
We will. We shall, and we can. Would you like to go first or second on this fine rendition of Give Me 5?
I'll go first.
Fantastic. Take it away.
So, I love ducks.
Ducks?
Ducks.
God bless you.
They are my favorite animal by far. Like, far and away. Like, if someone said, hey, Philip is dying and the only way that he can be, like, resuscitated is if you abandon a baby duck to its death, I would say, well, sucks to be Philip.
Actually, fun fact, I ran over a bird on the way here.
If that was a duck, I will literally kill you.
Donald Duck is my favorite Disney character.
But I unfortunately cannot own a duck, at least not this juncture in my life, because they take a lot of time and attention that I don't have, and I don't really have any.
Can they be potty trained?
You can buy diapers for them.
Oh.
But my question to you, if you could own any exotic animal, other than your usual fish or cat or dog, what animal would you own?
What's also funny is that a part of that is, you would say a bird is a part of those, but if you say like a falcon or an owl, that's different. But anyways, to your point, it would be an otter.
Good.
Otters are incredibly smart for their beings, and they're playful, and they also like to juggle. I just found out that one of their favorite activities to do is to juggle. They're uncontrollably cute. They're family oriented. They're also a good defender should you need one. And a trained otter is a fantastic otter. There's no otter like my pet. All right. Luke Wright, Dunkin' Donuts appears to be taking a page out of KFC's playbook and shortening its name. As part of a new effort to, quote, reinforce, end quote, its prominence as a coffee chain, the new Dunkin' Donuts location in Pasadena, California will display signage that simply reads, Dunkin'. A representative for Dunkin' Brands confirmed in a statement. The news comes less than a week after Dunkin' Donuts unveiled plans to abbreviate its menu to, quote, deliver what matters most to customers. End quote. This fact, coupled with the move to remove donuts from signage at the new storefronts, has led Quartz to speculate that the company is working to position itself as more of a direct alternative to Starbucks. Luke, I'm giving you any two companies in the world you want, all right? You are the CEO, the head honcho, and for one of them, you must immediately change the name because you think it is asinine or goofy. And then for the other company, you must agree to never change the name for all of eternity because the name is perfect. Your two companies are.
Okay, so this one's a hard one for me because I am not the best with coming up with names. First of all, I think the whole Dunkin' thing is kind of dumb to try to compete with Starbucks this late in the game against their Primo thing. So I think they're making a mistake there. But any company that I had to keep the name forever and ever, I would say IKEA.
That popped in through my head.
It's so iconic and it's so unique that there's really no reason for you to ever change it. You would have to be really dumb to change it.
I was thinking something along the line of McDonald's, but
I could see that one too.
Yeah, because it's such a brand unto itself, and it's associated. You think hamburgers, the first burger you think of is McDonald's, and then you get into the good stuff. But okay, so you're sticking with IKEA.
I'm sticking with IKEA.
The Swedish meatballs and all, and now you're going to change a company name. Which way are you going?
I think I'm gonna change Apple. Because why is it called Apple? You don't sell anything related to food. You don't sell anything related to apples. Why is it called Apple, Philip? Why?
Let me tell you, Steve.
I don't know.
My friend told me the reason why everything, the meaning of life, and his one-worded answer was Apple.
I don't think that's accurate at all. But yeah, I would change Apple to something more computery. Techies. Just because I think it's dumb to name your computer company after.
Would you name it
a piece of fruit? No, that's also stupid.
Why? Because everything's like iPod, iPad.
I think that's stupid. I think that's also stupid. Oh. I think everything Apple does is dumb.
Said the Android user to the death.
Even before Android, even when I had an iPhone, I thought everything that Apple did was dumb.
Fair enough. Your turn, good sir.
Okay, so there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of long movie franchises now.
Yes. Looking at you,
Transformers,
Freddy Krueger,
Lord of the Rings, any sort of horror franchise has at least 20 different movies. Harry Potter has 8 movies, 9 if you want to include Fantastic Beasts, which I do.
Did you know the Pokemon franchise is worth $24 billion?
Not surprised at all. But, so my question to you, as someone who has attempted to watch some of these franchises all at once, looking at you, Star Wars, throwback to the old high school days with Gary Boucher, Jesse Watson, a different Phil that we ran with at the time. We tried to watch Star Wars and we failed spectacularly, all in one night.
Okay.
At that point, there were only 6, though. This was before all the new ones.
Did you watch them in linear order or appearance?
Appearance.
Okay.
So my question to you,
Yes.
if you had to choose one franchise to watch from start to finish at one time, what franchise would it be?
Now let me ask you, because this matters deeply. So if I say Avengers, right? Does that include
The whole current cinematic Marvel universe.
Man, that does make it tougher, because I might choose Avengers now only because before I was going to choose the Dark Knight franchise. But I guess that wouldn't include the new stuff, would it? No, right?
What?
If I were to choose Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight franchise.
It would just be those 3.
Oh, then I'm choosing that all day long. I thought it would include the newer stuff, and outside of Wonder Woman, everything else is a dud. So I would choose Christopher Nolan's Batman franchise. I know it's limited, but within its limitations, it is beauty personified.
Okay.
Luke, last night was a night many had been anxiously awaiting. Now, as you race to the corners of your mind to try and figure out what it is I'm referring to, I'll stop you. It was the season finale of The Bachelorette. However, the real bombshell was not in the person who Rachel got engaged with this season's Bachelorette, who was, the final person was Brian, but rather the person she turned away. Peter was the second to last man standing, but he was hesitant to propose immediately to Rachel, should she have chosen him. After expressing this sentiment to Rachel, through heavy sobs and emotion, Rachel asked Peter to leave. 2 questions here. Luke, was Peter wrong for feeling hesitant to propose to a girl he had met about 2 months earlier? And is there any chance that Rachel and Brian, the now engaged couple, make it through those wedding doors?
1, Bachelorette's stupid and should be canceled. So should The Bachelor. 2, it's idiotic to even consider proposing to a woman you met 2.5 months ago and you only met her because you were on a reality show that was designed to try to make you compete with other men for her attention. 3, I don't remember what the second part of your question was.
The second part, is there any chance that Rachel and Brian, the now engaged couple, make it through those wedding doors with the doves and the I do's?
There is a 0% chance that they are still together a year from now.
Now, I will say, last season's Bachelorette, which was Aaron Rodgers' brother and JoJo, are still together.
Okay.
They haven't gotten married yet, but they're still quote-unquote engaged.
Okay. Wow. A celebrity and a celebrity's brother have somehow made it work for a year? This must be true love.
It must be true.
No, this is stupid. They definitely won't last longer than maybe 3 years. And they're definitely not going to stay married together.
And out of respect to my girlfriend who loves The Bachelorette, it is still trash. It is trash TV, but she will never give it up, and she admits it as such to be. So, your turn, Luke.
So, within the past 3 years of my life, I've started to go to a lot more musical concerts. I've been to the Weezer Panic one.
I have a concert question later.
Continue. Oh, nice. I have seen Halsey. I've seen Manchester Orchestra. I'm going to see them again next month. I've seen a lot of people, not a lot compared to some people, but I've seen quite a few.
For you, it's a large volume.
It's a pretty good amount of concerts and people live. My question for you is, if you could construct your own ideal concert with an opener, a mid-card, and the headliner, just 3 performers, who would you choose?
Now, is it now? So essentially,
no.
Okay, so it's in their prime.
In their prime, just if you could choose your 3 faves.
Oh my.
Or whoever you think would sound best live.
Right. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Okay, let's think about this. Okay, so for just singer, so my like Adele-like person who just sings essentially and doesn't necessarily perform or do all the showmanship that Beyonce or Justin Bieber, like dancers and entertainers do. I'm gonna go with Billy Joel, prime Billy Joel.
Oh, that's a good pick.
Yes, and see, I feel like an encore of Billy Joel just demands that he be the closer.
You're gonna do Billy Joel as your headliner?
Yeah, I think I gotta go Billy.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, just because if you're like one more, you're never gonna be disappointed with the one more.
That's fair.
So I'm gonna go with Billy Joel. Let's see here. Next.
What do you want as the encore? The final song encore. What would it be if it was Billy Joel? Because I know immediately what song I would pick.
Yeah, it's gotta be Piano Man.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
It's gotta be Piano Man. And let's see. If I'm going entertainment value, right, and I need an entertainer, I'm opening up with Bruno Mars. That guy has so much talent dripping from his fingers. I gotta go Bruno Mars because not only do I get a show and some good modern pop, but as an opener, that's a great way to upbeat and find something that I love.
So we're opening with Bruno. We don't know who the mid card is, and then we're closing out with Billy. Okay.
And I think the middle has to be a mix of the two, entertainment and just a great singer. Oh, you're killing me here. I think out of there's so many. I think I'm gonna go Michael Jackson, middle. Okay. Just I don't think that I'll be disappointed with the song selection from Michael Jackson, and he always put on a great show.
That's just such a weird. Hey, I'm gonna go see a concert tonight. Who are you gonna see? Oh, Bruno, MJ, and Billy Joel. What?
Yeah. I just, in a way, actually, they correlate pretty nicely, too. The Bruno Michael Jackson concert.
I think it would flow.
That would flow.
You could flow and then end Michael's set with 80s, which will flow perfectly in the Billy.
That's a great concert. Guess I do say so myself. Okay, I'm gonna skip around to my concert question because it's so appropriate right now. Luke, a New Mexico man was arrested for disorderly conduct and indecent exposure after a 10-year-old girl and her parents said he urinated on them during a Metallica concert. The concert goers were attending Friday's gig at the University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona, when Danielle Francis Daddio, 44, from Albuquerque, allegedly urinated on the family, whose seats were in front of his. The family is unnamed in court documents, but quotes from the father's statement to Arizona State troopers describe the moment when, quote, all three of his family members felt warm liquid washing over their backs and legs. When the dad turned to see where the liquid came from, he observed Daniel Francis Daddio standing behind them in the row of seats just above theirs, with Daddio urinating on all three of his family members. Daddio was arrested at 9:30 p.m. He was, quote, heavily intoxicated at the time of his arrest, no surprise there, and denied the incident occurred. Troopers found a ticket for the Metallica concert in his possession that confirmed his seat was located directly behind the family. Luke, pardon the pun, but how pissed would you be if someone urinated on you, let alone if it happened at a concert you had purchased a ticket to?
I would be royally pissed. Royally. I would probably sock the dude right in the nuts.
I was gonna say, looking at him right now, he's pretty seething. He's envisioning the feeling of
I would legitimately. I don't know if there would have been any way to get me angrier than that. And that's part of the reason why I wouldn't want to go to a Metallica concert or a concert that I think would have a lot of 40-year-old men who drink way too much and then piss all over people. So I would be incredibly angry if I paid tickets, especially Metallica, because I guarantee you those tickets weren't cheap, and I guarantee you, Metallica's getting up there in age. Like, a lot of people are going there because they're not sure if that's going to be the last time they see them.
Yeah.
So
that is 100% the right response. Nothing in this world is as disgross or as... I'm a pretty relaxed guy. You get kind of wound up from time to time. But I would be so incredibly pissed if somebody urinated on me. really doesn't matter the location. It could be anywhere. If somebody were to urinate on me, that would be the end of my keeping cool.
There's only one person that I wouldn't be upset if they peed on.
Oh gosh.
And that's my newborn child who can't control it.
Okay.
I
thought you were going DuckTales.
You get your mind out of the gutter.
I thought that you were talking about your pet duck. I don't know what you're talking about. All right, your turn, Luke.
So Phoenix is hot, Philip.
Hot.
It's hot.
Just like the kids in Toronto.
The kids are hot.
In Toronto.
They're real hot. But my question is about cities that are cool.
Oh.
Such as San Diego.
Okay.
And relaxing.
Yeah.
Would you like to retire in one of those nice, cool, relaxing cities? Or somewhere where it's hot? Like the kids. But where would you like to retire? In 40, 50 years when you're at that age.
Right. Oh, well, I won't lie to you. I do like a nice, cool, relaxing place. However, the downside, of course, to those nice, relaxing, cool places are the taxes are through the roof. It's incredibly expensive to live in San Diego, or LA, or anywhere in California, really. So I think I probably would like to live in somewhere like a Seattle where it's rainy. Or honestly, if I had to be forced to live in Texas where there's no state tax and it's not as hot as, say, as humid hot as it is in Miami or anywhere in Florida where it's just unbearably hot for parts of the season and it's also humid, I could find myself living in Texas sporting a cowboy hat and eating alligator every once in a while.
Alligator's not bad.
Yeah. Luke, I keep looking on Twitter, and it is seemingly random National Day, this and that, every frickin' day. So today, August 8th, it's National Frozen Custard Day. Happy today, yeah. Tomorrow, it's frickin' National Rice Pudding Day. So I have a game. I have 8 national days, 7 of which are real days dedicated to these particular cause and items. One of which I have made up. I'm going to list these days, and I'm going to give you pen and paper just so you can keep track here.
Oh my god.
And I just want you, we're going to play a little elimination here, alright? I want you to tell me which one, actually, you know what, I'll just list this 8, you tell me which one is the fake one. All right?
Okay.
Which of these days are not actually a part of next week's slate of holidays? One of them I completely made up, the rest are in next week's slate of holidays starting from August 14th, ending on August 20th. Okay. All right. In alphabetical order, National Creamsicle Day, National Grandfather Clock Day, National I Love My Feet Day, National Lemon Meringue Pie Day, National Mail Order Catalog Day, National Soft Ice Cream Day, National Radio Day, National Tell a Joke Day. There are your 8. Which one did I make up? One more time?
No.
Okay.
Here's what I'm thinking.
Okay, go ahead.
I am 99% sure the fake one is National I Like My Feet Day. 99% sure of that. That 1% though. That 1% saying Phil would find National Like Your Feet Day. And it's just so ridiculous. There's no way it can be fake. But it's so ridiculous. There's no way it can be real.
I love that I've spaced myself out to get the respect from you that I'm that weird that I could come up with it, but it's so weird that I could not have come up with it.
I'm gonna go with National
Like
Your Feet Day.
So you were right in thinking National Creamsicle Day is a real day. It's August 14th, Monday of next week.
Okay.
National Lemon Meringue Pie Day is August 15th, Tuesday.
Okay.
National Tell a Joke Day is August 16th, Wednesday. We're getting down to the nitty gritty here. August 17th, Thursday, is National I Love My Feet Day. National Mail Order Catalog Day is August 18th, a Friday. So you're down to Saturday and Sunday.
Well, I already was wrong.
You were. Do you want a second chance here? National Grandfather Clock Day, National Soft Ice Cream Day, and National Radio Day. Which one of those is the fake one?
Grandfather Clock Day, I don't.
There you go. That is the wrong one.
Okay.
Saturday is going to be National Soft Ice Cream Day, and Sunday is National Radio Day.
Oh my God.
You're still so disappointed. National I Love My Feet Day. Be there or be a toe on a Thursday, August 17th.
Whatever.
Your turn, sir.
Okay, so for my last one, I'm going to end on a little bit of a more serious note here.
Okay.
As we all know, we've lost some icons recently.
We have. 2017, not been nice to the celebrities.
Neither was 2016. But some of them were Craig Sager, who, the very famous sideline reporter,
Yep.
and Chester Bennington, the lead singer of Linkin Park. What some people don't realize, and part of what made me feel even worse when these deaths happened, was those were 2 items on my bucket list. Was meeting Craig Sager and just talking with him as just like one professional to another. And then I wanted to see Linkin Park in concert live before I died. Those were two big items on my bucket list.
Right.
And I sadly will never get to meet Craig Sager. And while yes, maybe Linkin Park finds somebody and they do another tour, it's just not going to be the same.
Right.
So my question to you is, what are 3 items on your bucket list?
3 items on my bucket list. 1. So, okay, in my idea of a bucket list, they have to be attainable, right? I could say win the World Series of Poker main event, but how attainable is that? Yeah, it's incredibly.
I think that's attainable.
You have to be incredibly lucky. So for me,
It's a skill game.
Yes, it is, but it's still if
You do need some luck, yes.
to get through like 6,000, at least 7,000 other people, yes. My point is I will put it as enter the World Series of Poker main event without bankrupting myself. Which at this point in time, it would.
Yeah.
All right, so that's number 1. Number 2, I would love to perform on a play in Broadway.
Okay.
Even if it's just for a day as a guest special appearance, everybody bought a ticket to see me, whatever it is. I don't even need to be the star. It could even be for the worst show, Spider-Man, turn off the lights, I'm looking at you on Broadway. I don't care. Just some capacity, be on Broadway. And number 3, let me think here. On the bucket list, I'd probably want to... Okay, I guess this one is how attainable is it within myself, I don't know. But I would love to be at the next Super Bowl that the Denver Broncos are in.
I think that's fair.
Because that's out of my control. The Broncos have to,
No, but like you could say, I'd like to be at a Super Bowl live with the Broncos. I think that's a reasonable
and
bucket
just pray
list.
to God they don't meet the Seahawks again. Oh my God, that was the worst. Every year I make sure I get to the Super Bowl wherever I'm watching early. I reserve my spot. I get my wings. I get my burger. Make sure I'm situated. Sit down. It's almost a holy day for me. And that year it was just completely deflating from point zero to point end. It was just awful.
Yeah.
All right, Luke. I got a little bit of a story for you. On Monday night, a Twitter thread from Lizette Pilot chronicling her incredibly wild date went viral. In short, Pilot said she wasn't a fan of the dude, but decided to stay at the bar because she had a friend who worked there. Then about 45 minutes later, another girl named Kristen showed up. She was the guy's next scheduled date. Pilot hung around and drank with the new girl and the guy, who BuzzFeed News has identified as Justin, until he left the room for a minute. Quote, the 3 of us talked and Lizette started to pay her bill, so I didn't think anything of it, Kristen told BuzzFeed. Then Justin got a phone call and left the bar, and Lizette told me to run and that this guy sucks. I was confused because I thought they were friends, but she then tells me he asked her for drinks at 5 and told her he was meeting friends at 6:15, which I guess was me. End quote. Soon after, another girl also at the bar to see Justin shows up. So that's 3. After hanging around in the bar for a bit, the 2 girls and Pilot decided to leave to get drinks somewhere else and left Justin with the bill. At this point, Pilot thought the whole thing was over, but then her friend at the bar texted to tell her that Justin was on another date. Pilot proceeded to send one of those girls over to retrieve his 8 p.m. date. By the time date number 5 showed up, Justin had well and truly figured out the whole thing out and apparently just told her to go meet the other girls hanging out. Justin said the whole thing was a misunderstanding, but he understood why some people might be a bit irritated by the events that took place. Luke, could you ever go on a multiple date night? And is there a chance at all that Justin here was a genius or just dumb for having 5 dates in one night?
First of all, Justin's an idiot. Has he not seen literally any school or any episode that involves high schoolers? Or any series that involves high schoolers? Because there's always that idiot who thinks, oh, I could go to the dance with both girls.
Yeah.
No, it just doesn't work. It never works.
Never works. And you know the ones that do work? The ones that nobody ever talks about.
I guess.
But now they're talking about Justin. Poor Justin.
But I just mean even... But no, I would not do... I could see maybe 2.
Like throughout the day?
Like maybe do like
Brunch
a lunch date
Brunch
and...
with Tiffany and dinner with Scarlett Johansson?
Or maybe even 3 if you space them out enough. But to do 5 at the exact same bar for the exact same thing, literally like an hour apart from each other, that's just moronic.
Yeah, I really don't understand, and this is of course the downward spiral that you can fall into, the void of BuzzFeed that if you just click on random articles you find. But apparently Justin had just been broken up with his girlfriend of a while, so he was brokenhearted, said he just wanted to talk. That was never explicitly stated as dates. I think we as guys can see through that veil for Justin, but good luck, good A for, C for effort, but at least you tried. Alright, so that will do it for this episode of Chopped Greens. Are you still excited to be back from England and on all the hotness that is Arizona?
Not at all. I wish I was still there.
Still there. Still in bloody good old England.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. Thank you so much for listening to Chopped Greens. Of course, you can listen to us and all of our old archived episodes on YouTube. Follow my channel, Philip Amerine, for all of those. As well as all of our newer episodes on SoundCloud. We release our last 2 episodes there, so that way you can catch up on all of our newest episodes. For
Luke, right?
I am Philip Amerine, and this is Chopped Greens. Thank you so much for listening. And of course, as always, bye.